What's up, folks, people, everybody checking in right here. Rusty Mansell on a beautiful Tuesday night here in Rome, Georgia. It's Dawg Talk Live with Rusty Mansell. We're here every week. We try to do it every Tuesday night. We're always presented by Hotel Indigo in Athens, and that's right. It's game week. It's big week. It's Ole Miss week. It's sold out. Athens is sold out. Hotel Indigo is sold out. I think they've got some tickets left. We'll talk about that in a few minutes for Ole Miss if you're still looking for tickets. Friday night, Hotel Indigo, myself and Jake Rowe, we will be there again. I got some response about this, and we're doing a show there, and we're trying to build that with you guys. But I had somebody send me an email and say, "Hey man, I just enjoyed meeting you and talking to you. We'll be there early. Now we're going to try to go on the back patio area around 7:15." But me and Jake will be there early. Now, there's beverages. There's a great bar area. We will be there early. Got a chance to meet everybody and kind of introduce yourself. We got people that's already coming from DawgsHQ that have emailed us. So Friday night at Hotel Indigo, we will be there live. We will do about a 30, 45-minute Q&A kind of show Friday night, but we'll be there early. It's a huge freaking weekend now. I'm not going to mistake that, but you see that, man. Presented by Hotel Indigo in Athens. My guy, Barry Rutherford, right there, and his guys and his team. Thank y'all for being a part of this. And I can read all these commercials and I can say all these things. I'm old school. Come by there one time. Come by there once, and you'll be sold. Hotel Indigo, not just for Ole Miss weekend, parents weekend, weddings, freaking bar downstairs, unbelievable. Clubs, patio area, everything you want. Come by Hotel Indigo this Friday night. We will be there live, working on a very special guest. Not promising, but working on a very special guest. So I will see you guys Friday night. Can't wait. Let's get right to it, guys. Georgia beats Auburn again. Holy smokes. What a game. Unbelievable. So many things to talk about with this game. Thank you, too, for checking in. Tony Griffin says he loves the Hotel Indigo bar and patio. Tony, I promise you, it is top-notch in Athens. So much to talk about. You know what? I'm going to be straight with you tonight. And you guys have followed me for a long time in my work. And I'm pretty, I would say, conservative in my opinion. I'm not going to be tonight. I'm tired of hearing about it. Okay? I'm tired of hearing about it. This Auburn stuff. Okay? You know what I'm going to tell you? I'm going to give you some facts on this game. Auburn had 5 possessions in the second half. They scored 0 points. Everything that happened in the first half had nothing to do that if you got to call this fumble, whatever it happened, nothing happened. You got to flush that. You got to go. You know what I mean? And I just thought Georgia responded, man. And I said this Sunday night, this team is not the most talented Georgia team. It's not. It's not the most talented Georgia team. It's not a 21 team. It's not a 22 team. But I'm telling you right now, this team fights their ass off. It's the damnedest thing I've ever seen. I'm telling you, they are scrappy. They got kids beat up. Monroe Freeland had no business playing. Kirby Smart wasn't even going to take him basically Thursday. And Monroe Freeland texted him and said, "You're taking me to damn Auburn." And without Monroe Freeland, they don't win that game Saturday night. They had an injury at tackle. Auburn was really good up front, and they were good as advertised. And they didn't get there. And I want to say this. I always got a little quick story. I shared this on DawgsHQ Sunday, but I want to share this with you. And trust me, I feel like I know some people, so I trusted the source on this. The play that everybody's talking about, the fumble, that, by the way, cost Georgia a timeout. It cost Georgia a touchdown. That's the story. It cost Georgia a touchdown. Going back and watching that play a million times. But I'll tell you this. During the timeout, Kirby Smart, they're reviewing the play before, okay, whether Jackson Arnold, it was the right play. His hand was down. Kirby Smart basically grabs Raylan Wilson and C.J. Allen on the defensive huddle, and he looks both of them in the face, and he tells them to punch the MFer out. He's going to stretch the ball, and I'm just using what I was told. I know it's surprising you. Kirby cusses every now and then. Was told Kirby said, punch the MFer out. He's going to stick the ball out. And he goes into detail on Raylan Wilson to tell him, use your right hand. because you're going to be in that gap. Little things like that, guys. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. Little things like that win football games. That was a creative turnover that they got robbed on a touchdown. I can't believe that there wasn't a whistle blown. The ref sits and looks at the Georgia player with the ball running by him. Normally, they just let that happen, and what they should have done is let him go, called a touchdown, and reviewed it. But listen, it's been a lot, man. In the last 2 days, normally I don't let social media, but man, it's been wild on that. Okay, the timeout. Whether he called timeout or not, you know what happened? Georgia had a penalty on the next play, which was one of the worst calls you'll ever see. Cass Jones squares a guy up, and you never want to see anybody get hurt. I don't. But Cass Jones knocked the dude out in front of it, not a blindside shot. He hits the dude and he knocks him down, and the guy goes out. I mean, it was a violent game. It's violence. I get it. Don't want anybody hurt. I don't ever want that. But Cass Jones hit this dude and laid him out, and they get him for this. I have no idea the penalty on that, how they came to that conclusion. And then Georgia misses a field goal. That has nothing to do with how the game ended. Okay, so the game there was still 13-10, and you had all the opportunity in the world to win that game. So, you know, I floored at the reaction there. You know, the fumble, you watch it a million times. Okay, whatever. But the Cass Jones play and then the timeout, who cares? I don't understand. Okay, that had nothing to do with the final outcome of the game at all, because Georgia gained nothing out of that. Georgia left the game with timeouts. Okay, if they lose a timeout there, okay, they do. All right, that had nothing to do. Georgia didn't score the next play. They had a penalty and missed a field goal, and that was it. You got the ball back. I don't understand that. But I want to talk about this too, man. You know, Georgia's sitting there, and I think that Auburn had 227 yards, and Georgia had 20, and they were struggling. Listen, Auburn was taking it to Georgia. I'm going to tell you the both sides of it. Auburn was taking it to Georgia, and they really they couldn't get anything going. Couldn't run the football. Chauncey Bowens was banged up. Couldn't run the football. And then when halftime happened, and that last drive right before, a 99-yard drive to get a field goal coming from the 1-yard line. What a call there. What a drive there to get some momentum, to get that back to 10-3 in Georgia. From that point on, the second half, I'll say it, the second half, Auburn possessions, they go 5 plays, downs, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 9 plays, ball game. That was it. You know, and that was a story to me. Like, Georgia took it to them in the second half, and Gunnar Stockton made play after play, and I think that they just had people step up. But I cannot go without mentioning Monroe Freeland, guys. They were in trouble. They were in trouble. They were in trouble if he doesn't play. And I know he wasn't 100. I know he probably wasn't 75%. Another guy I want to mention is Oscar Delp, because I'm telling you right now, Oscar Delp. You look at Monroe Freeland, Michael Morris, and those guys. I mean, the fact that I saw Monroe Freeland last Saturday Kentucky game. I'm doing a podcast, a news thing after the game. I'm shooting a clip for Fox 5 in Atlanta. When I get done, Monroe Freeland walks by me, and he can barely walk. And I thought, there's no way. He had a boot on, which is always precautionary. But I'm telling you, man, what he did, and Kirby said in the press conference, he didn't do anything last week. They put a helmet on. He tried to jog, couldn't do it. So, you know, man, I can't say enough about this team, man. They just find a freaking way. I don't know where this thing is going to go, but I'm telling you right now, this team fights their ass off. And, man, that, to me, that is culture. J.D. Piquel, our guy for On 3, who does a great job, he had a podcast this week when he said that was a culture win. That was Bloody Tuesday. That's what happens when you don't flinch, when you get hit in the mouth and you don't flinch. And Georgia got hit in the mouth. I'm going to give Auburn all the credit in the world. Auburn's physical. I don't know what's going on at Auburn. They got guys. They got 2 wide receivers that scare the piss out of you in Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton. And Eric Singleton tore Georgia up 2 years in a row. He had 3 catches, I think, for 14 yards. It's not our problem. Yeah, that guy is he's a handful, and did help Auburn this week. Oscar Delp is blocking his tail off. Kobe Young, a lot of you guys are mentioning Kobe Young. We're going to get into the questions, but Kobe Young, man, is Kobe Young is a guy that I mean, he's that dude right now. He's got 22 catches for 300 yards in these games, and he's starting to become that guy. Zachariah Branch is another guy that I think they can get more out of, and they're going to. But Kobe Young, man, is playing well. Georgia just really they impressed me, man. I mean, to turn that switch. Now, I'll say this: they can't do this every week. I don't think so. They can't start like this. They can't play from behind. They got to find a way to turn that switch on. And people ask me last 2 days, what's happening there? I don't know what's happening there, and I know they're pressing to find out. And it's execution, those types of things. But it's crazy how they're able just to you got to knock them out, man. You got to knock out 9 straight wins. Look at Kobe Young right there. I believe that's the play. I think that's the play they call the penalty on where he's stretching for the end zone. Might have been where he was stretching for the end zone, and they call that back. Looks like Bruce Pearl in the corner of that picture. But Jake Rowe mentioned this. One of our subscribers mentioned this, and it really, look, I know what happens. Georgia played Bama with a bye week. Georgia played Auburn. They had a bye week to prepare for them. And basically, Ole Miss had a bye week. I don't care what that happened in Washington State. It has nothing to do. I guarantee you that Ole Miss spent 2 days last week preparing for Georgia. No question for me. But can't say enough, man, about the team and what they did this past week to go on down there. And that's a tough place to play. Chauncey Bowens, to me, they couldn't run the football. He's the difference. I mean, Nate Frazier and those guys gave you all they had. Corey there gave you, some good carries, but when 33 is healthy, he's a difference maker. I looked it up tonight. He's 5.3 yards per carry. That's the guy they got to have. Nate Frazier gave some tough yards, man. He's doing it, but for I think everybody that watches this from week to week understands that the guy right now is 33, and they need him. They need him back this week. Everything we're hearing would be. He's back this week. So let's get into Ole Miss. Big game. Obviously, big game. It's funny because Georgia absolutely beat the brakes off of Ole Miss 2 years ago in Athens. I think they dropped 50 on them, 600 yards offense. Just Ole Miss comes down, I think, and scores the first 10, which is typical. And then Georgia they just run them out of the building. Like physical, carved them up, that 2023 team. Then Georgia goes to Ole Miss last year, and it's really been the one team, I think, in a while that just beat the brakes off of Georgia. I mean, from the start, it was just one of those games. It was just one of those games that and that Ole Miss team. I don't know how that Ole Miss team last year didn't make the playoffs. If that Ole Miss team last year makes the playoffs with Walter Nolan and all those dudes, they'd have been hard to deal with. They had a bunch of NFL guys on defense. Jackson Dart's a freaking dude. I mean, Jackson Dart's tearing it up with the Giants right now, and he's different, and they didn't get in. They got beat by Florida and cost them. Losing to Kentucky knocked them out. That's what did them in. So, but this team, here's what I'll tell you about this team. I love this quarterback, Trinidad Chambliss, and how the hell they found him from Ferris State. And really, he wasn't a guy. I mean, Austin Simmons was going to be their guy. He was the whole offseason. Everybody talked about him, and he gets banged up, and they have to play Trinidad Chambliss against Arkansas. And then they're like, wait a minute, what do we got here? And he was a guy that is taking off. Now, he's played really good. But this young man, and I don't know how he's going to react. But this young man hasn't played at anything. He's never played anything like this. They had Arkansas at home, lost. They beat Arkansas 41-35. Arkansas is driving to win that game, and they fumble. And it's just a terrible loss for Arkansas. And credit Ole Miss, they win that game. Then they just shred Tulane. Chambliss goes for 307. And he rushes for 112. That's what scares you there. He had 307 yards passing and 112 yards rushing there. Best game by far was against LSU, which is a damn good defense. He goes for 314 yards passing in that game. LSU, not a great offense. They beat them 24-19 at home. Then they play Washington State at home. They beat Washington State 24-21. I don't care anything about that game. I don't read anything into that game because they were looking ahead to Georgia. It's just like watching Austin Peay and Georgia struggle, and then they beat Tennessee a week later. That game has nothing to do with me. It was hard to get those kids up to play for that. I don't care what Lane tried to tell them for 2 weeks. This team is interesting because I want to see Chambliss in this environment. It's never been in this where, it's going to be loud. Sanford Stadium's going to be rocking. There's no question about it. And here's the thing I said on a couple of podcasts. I knew Kirby Smart was going to say something about the crowd. And I'll tell you why Kirby Smart said something about the crowd. Because this is the time that you can really affect a game. Georgia did it against Tennessee. Georgia did it against Arkansas at home. There's so much communication with Lane Kiffin and his quarterback. And Lane Kiffin's a great play caller, maybe one of the best play callers in college football now. Don't beat around the bush with that. That headset cuts off at 15 seconds. There's no more communication between that sideline and him in his earpiece, but they can sign to you and all that stuff. There's a lot of communication. And if you watch them, they try to go so fast. They want to snap the ball. So with that, you got to make it hard. And I knew that Kirby was going to challenge. I said it Sunday night on the Georgia show that Kirby Smart was going to challenge the crowd, and that's why he did. He knows Georgia fans are going to show up. He knows it's one of those games. Sanford State is going to be rocking. But he needs it to be extra because you can have an impact on this game with communication, no question about it. And then Kirby's he's smart. He's calculated. Kirby Smart knows that Georgia fans are going to show up for Ole Miss. They're star, no question. But he wants you to be extra. Game day is going to be there. Everybody's going to be in town early. We're going to see you Friday night at Hotel Indigo. But Friday night and the whole weekend's going to be a buzz. I talked with so many people that are going. A lot of people. I got some friends that are going. Some of the DawgsHQ people are going Thursday. They're getting a whole weekend out of this thing. So it's one of those. It's a big game, guys, and you can impact it. Defensively, Ole Miss is not as good as they were last year. They're not. They still got guys. And they're going to play zone. Pete Golden's going to. They're going to play zone in this, like everybody else has. Auburn came after. Going back and looking at it, Auburn came after Gunner a little more than I thought. They still played zone in behind it, and that's kind of the thing. He's going to have to do it. Yeah, they're 119 against the run, and some of that, is some garbage stuff. But I will say, they're not as good up front as they were. They had two first rounders last year, and but Walter Nolan, Georgia couldn't block him last year. He was killing people, and that's why he was a first rounder. They don't have that guy. Georgia doesn't have that Michael Williams this year. They don't. So you got to make do with kind of what you got is those things. So it's just it's going to be, to me, quarterback play. How do they affect this guy? What does he see? The coverage. Caden Lee's a kid out of Kennesaw Mountain High School. He's played fantastic for Ole Miss. They've got some guys from Atlanta area, and they're going to be good. They're well coached offensively. You know what you're going to get, but it's just the pace of the game. Defensively, you got to be able to run the football. And that doesn't change from week to week. But I think it's very important this week because they keep Ole Miss off the field. Guys got to have a fast start. I mean, I'm not telling anybody over here anything any different. Those two drives that Georgia, and let me tell you something, those two drives that Mike Bobo put on Auburn in that game, 14 plays and 12 plays, that's grown man stuff. That is absolutely take your damn soul, make you quit drives. And you would love that earlier. You know what I mean? You love those things earlier. So, yeah, Deuce Alexander, definitely is another wide receiver that's really good. Know his dad well. His dad trains a lot of people. So this young man's having a great first year at Ole Miss, and he's going to be hard to deal with too, number 11. They got 2 Georgia wide receivers that are really impacted. Caleb Odom, I hadn't seen a ton out of him, but I tell you right now that Caden Lee and Deuce Alexander, you're right there, Jack. Those guys are problems, and it'll be real interesting. It's funny, Terrence Edwards, long-time Georgia Bulldog great. He spent a long time training Caden Lee since he was like 9th grade. So if he has a good game against Georgia, you can blame Terrence because he polished him up. But, Georgia's offensive line, are they healthy? That's going to be a question. Jake Rowe's going to have some stuff on our site in the morning. Talk to him today. Some injury stuff, kind of what we're hearing on Wednesday. Tackles, I still think Monroe Freeland and Juan Gaston are going to try to go. And I think both go. It's just how effective can they be. Bo Hughley, he didn't have his best game against Auburn, but he gave everything he had. I'm telling you, the guy plays his ass off. And, he had some trouble in the fourth quarter with pass pro, and he went up against an NFL guy. But, Bo Hughley's answered the bell when Georgia needed him. So that's been a can't say enough about him, man, because he's had to flip from left to right and everything. Everybody talked to is like, this guy is incredible. He loves the game of football. He's got so much ceiling left in him. Let's get to some questions, but I do want to talk about one more time right here before we get into some questions, guys. Hotel Indigo, Friday night. We will be there. You can visit indigoathens.com. Barry, the whole crowd over there. Everybody will be there. It's awesome. I'm telling you, if you're in town, I know there's a big concert Friday night. Somebody's telling me it's a sold-out concert down the street. Doesn't start till 8 o'clock. You're right there across the street from it. Stop in Hotel Indigo. Come over there. Have one. Maybe we can sneak some on Jake Rowe's tab. Don't tell him. And but look, man, a lot of Dawg fans there. I met so many people from our site there for the first time, and young guy from New Jersey, guys from Warner Robins, guys from Texas. So we enjoyed it, man. It's going to be great. Friday night, Hotel Indigo, DawgsHQ. We will be back there live. But let's get into some questions from you guys, what you got here as they pop up. Yes, I like the what we got here, thoughts on the future of Mason Short. What we got? Why did Tula go back to Auburn? Because his brother and more money. So Jadarius Tootle decommitted today, and you can just piece it together. Auburn offered his brother, who's at junior college right now, and they offered him, and about 20 minutes later, he decommitted. And that's their right. Okay, I'm not going to get into family stuff, not going to get into all that, but Georgia's not going to do a package deal. They're just not. They're not offering. And Georgia knew that they needed to do that to keep him, but Kirby Smart I don't know that he's ever done a package deal for anybody. He's not doing that. He's never done that. And from everything I know, he's never done a package deal. So there's some players that have family members that were walk-ons that were players, but to scholarship a player, Georgia was not. They weren't. That was a decision they made too. So what else we got? Any chance we get the O-line healthy? We guys got to get through this weekend, man. You need to get to this weekend. It's SEC. I mean, nobody feels sorry for you. They got to get past this game and get to this bye week. And they really need that bye week. They really need that bye week going into the second half of the season. So you just going to have to play through it. And it is what it is. Not going to sugarcoat that. They need to get some guys healthy, and they're beat up. A lot of people are beat up, but it's just the 2 tackle positions are really, is really what you kind of hold your breath on. I'm telling you, you can't say enough about Monroe Freeland. Good Lord, have mercy. What a damn athlete to be able to come back like that. Why do you think Hugh didn't go to his backup in this game? Do you think that is Deuce Knight? I don't know. I'm not the Auburn expert there. You know what I mean? They had some things working. I think they're so far into that offensive scheme with him, with Jackson Arnold. I think he missed some key throws. And those 3 possessions, they went 3 and out. I think he missed some guys that were open. And when you can't connect on those, you punt the ball. And just is what it is. Be interesting to see, but so they're going with him. Rusty, what's the deal with the Wet Weeks recruitment? That's great. I think he wanted to play for Georgia. Is that the one the Dogs missed on? They didn't miss on him because I happen to know his dad, David, very well. And I happen to know Whit. I happen to know Wes. I happen to know Zach. I happen to know their mom. I know that family well. Those are good people, man. Those are great people. They had an older brother, West, who was at Virginia, who was going into portal. Whit was coming out. Georgia recruited Whit with the intention of signing him. And West was going to go somewhere else. He was leaving Virginia. He was going to go somewhere else. He's a good player. He's starting for LSU too. I know for a fact that David Weeks had a personal conversation with Kirby Smart and basically said, how high is Whit for you? And Kirby said, Whit Weeks can commit at any time. Anytime he wants to commit. He had a committable offer. They loved him. They were recruiting other guys too, but, he had an opportunity to play at Georgia, and I get it. He went and played with his brother West at LSU. And a great family. I'm telling you right now, you won't get a better damn family than that group. And those are good kids. Those are good boys. They damn sure are some football players. I would love to have Whit Weeks. I would love to have Wes Weeks. I would love to have Zach, all three of them. They ended up at LSU, and good luck to them. But they are a great family, man. My son and I are coming to Athens this weekend for our first Eugene game. It's his birthday. What are some of the things we should definitely do? We're there for the full experience. Well, if you're coming in Friday, you can come by Indigo. I would love to meet him. But if you're coming in late in the day, if you're coming in Saturday morning, you got to see as much of the campus as you possibly can. And that would be the first thing I would do because traffic's going to be so bad. Get somewhere parked. You got to go to Dog Walk. If you've never been to Dog Walk, it's his birthday. It will be hype. And I think that's 2 hours before game time, maybe 2.5. But yeah, I would say about 1:15, probably 1 o'clock. Be right there at the Tate Center. You want to go to the Stute Center, you can go all those places. But if you're coming in Saturday, see as much of the campus as you want. Just park and walk through that thing. It's unbelievable. It'll be a great game day will be there. So you have a great environment there. But tell him my man happy birthday. So real, you think he was out at Auburn? Listen, I never would have thought James Franklin was out for 50 million reasons, but he is. I don't know, but I tell you this: that Auburn does not play around. Auburn, there's standards there, there's goals there, they got money. I don't know which way this thing's going to go. The AD last night kind of made a statement saying expectations kind of aren't being met. I don't know. Again, I'm not the Auburn guy, but I can tell you that Auburn is a place where they want to compete, and they want to compete for championships. And starting out 0-3 in SEC is not probably where they thought they were going to be in year 3 with this deal. We'll see. Can we keep winning while continuing to get better? Hell yes. Yeah, man. Good one there, Sid. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the one thing that people kind of don't understand is how much better you can get and experience. And you kind of find out who you are and what you do well. I said this the other night about the 07 team. They were 3-2 and got their ass beat in Knoxville. Matt Stafford and them got beat, I think, 35-14. They got beat down. And they were 3-2, lost to South Carolina, lost to Tennessee. They almost lost to Vandy the next week, had to win that one late, 20-17. After that game, I think they went to a bye, and then they came in and beat Florida that game, and they went on a roll. Like they were the hottest team in America. Yes, you can get better. Yes, you can do all those things. And if you're one of these teams that's going to do well in December, that's what you do. You keep getting better. And I've said this since August. The teams that are going to the national championship are the teams who are hot at the end and the teams that are healthiest. And I really believe that. Ohio State won 4 games last year, guys, in the playoffs. 4 games. They lost their biggest game of the year. They were talking about firing their coach to Michigan. They won 4 in a row. They got hot and they were healthy, and they won a national championship. Can you provide a little insight about cornerback Daniel Harris? Not there every day, okay? But here's what I'll tell you. He's playing special teams, and Ellis Robinson's playing corner. So, and DeMello Jones is playing corner, and Dalen Everett's playing corner. To me, it looks very similar when Jamon Dumas-Johnson was a All-SEC player, and he left because C.J. Allen and Raylan Wilson were there, and he knew he was going to have to battle for those guys. He went to Kentucky, and those guys have been 2-year starters now. My personal opinion is Georgia's went with Ellis Robinson, and there's a learning curve there with Ellis Robinson. There is, but he's getting better, guys, and he is starting. The lights turned on for him. So I don't know that you write Daniel Harris off, but right now, to me, they're going with other guys, and you see him on the punt team, kickoff team, and those types of things. But that's kind of where we are with that. I do like that. I'm liking the secondary with Jones, Ellis, and Dalen. I feel like Georgia trusts them a little more. They play a little bit more man. You know what I mean? Like when they got down against Alabama, I don't think they had anywhere else to go but to say we got to trust our DBs. And they put DeMello Jones in there that second half, and I think they've had some spots to where they can't get pass rush. Okay, that's one of the problems. But if you look at the back end with those guys, I think inserting 15 into the lineup has done a lot for them, and they trust their guy. And I think Kirby Smart and those guys know that they have to have a learning curve with those guys. They're going to make some mistakes, but the ceiling on 15 and 1 is higher than what other guys, and they're just letting those guys play. And I love it. I think that's Kirby Smart. I do. I think that's Kirby Smart saying this is today's game. I'm not going to sit here with 3 juniors and these freshmen are going to sit the bench. That's not happening anymore. We're going to have to put these guys out here, and they're going to have to learn on the job a little bit. So it's good. It's real good. Elo, too light in the britches? I don't think so. I think it was unfair and I'll say this too, because he got there post-spring, didn't go through spring practice. You hear about him having really good summer workouts, but then you get a national analyst come out and say he's going to be the SEC Defensive Player of the Year or whatever they said. Okay, very unfair. It's okay. We all have to make predictions. I get that. Paul Feinbaum said that Arch Manning's going to be the greatest player since Tim Tebow. Okay, that's another conversation. I think Mendoza is learning this league because the guy in front of you is always an alien. You go up against a tackle in the SEC, he's 6'7", 325. I don't care who it is, what team it is. He's 6'6", 6'7", 325. He's learning to play like that. I trust my guy Jake Rowe with these things, and Jake told me yesterday, he said, man, Mendoza is starting to show some of that twitchy. Like this guy can help them the second half. So I'm not ready to write him off. Too light in the britches. I think you think about if Elo Mendoza gets there in January. The dude got there in mid-May, okay? Get him a full off season, and let's see where he is. But I'm not writing him off just yet to where he can't. And they're also playing Chris Jones more. Chris Jones got more size. Chris Jones, 245, 250-pound dude now that I'm very, very impressed with. I think Chris Jones has got a little better one-on-one move, and they're starting to play him a little more on some downs. We'll see as this game goes on. You watch it every week. That's a good observation. 28 starting to play a little bit more there. But they're still really counting on 9 Chris Cole in those 3rd and longs, and that kind of tells you where they are with those guys. Do we not have a faster, more rangy set? Kyron Jones is their guy. Ja'Cory Thomas and him together, they're kind of just piecing that together, and that's what it is right now. And I think Georgia took a swing. 3 transfers at safety, and Kyron Jones is the guy right now. And is the problem with that is You go from Malachi Starks, who's a first rounder, to Kyron Jones. He's not a first rounder. I mean, this guy plays his tail off. He's got some deficiencies for sure, but it's not what they've had in the past. I would agree with you, but he's the guy right now, and he'll hit you now. That dude will strike you. That's the one thing I will tell you. In my opinion, that's why he is playing over everybody else. He shows in the run game too, and pretty physical guy. Bubby, how you doing, man? It's interesting with the Penn State roster. You don't know there. You don't know what's going to happen with that. It's all that's so crazy that those kids can't go anywhere. Some of them might redshirt, but the guys that are playing, the two Penn State running backs staying cost Georgia ETN, and I'm confident in that because those two guys coming back this year freed up some draft spot, and that's what someone told me. ETN was coming back. He was coming back to Georgia, and when those two kids go, Singleton and the other guy go back to Penn State, and Penn State paid those guys a lot of money to come back. That bumped ETN. His age is like, oh, you better go. And I heard that from people that I trust. So it's crazy how the Penn State decisions kind of affected Georgia a little bit because Georgia, they'd be hell with ETN too. I thought he when they're healthy, he was really good, but he had to make a business decision, and I understand it. What's the deal with the kid out of Hebron? Are you talking about the offensive lineman? Don't think Georgia's recruiting him that much. I think he just committed to Wake Forest. Yes, I said that today. Darren Akinibon, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He's very close to playing. If you watch number 11, he's a outside linebacker from New Jersey, 6'5", 6'6", and the first time I saw him, I was like, oh wow, that looks like Lorenzo Carter. That's a big dude now, and he listen, don't write him off this year. I'm telling you, watch number 11. He's this close to getting into real minutes, and they've put him in a little bit. It wouldn't surprise me if they get through this game, and if Georgia wins this game and they get to the bye week and knowing the stretch run they have, if they don't take some time on the edge and look at him pretty hard, because he's no longer a freshman. I mean, this is a guy that's long, rangy, and he's probably next to me. This is what I've said all along. This is Uncle Glenn Hartley. This is what I've said all along about the D-line. Dawgs got more pressure in the second half versus Auburn. You see the D-line getting better going forward. They have to be good as a group, guys. They don't have a Jalen Carter. They don't have a Devontae White. Christian Miller is damn good. Has to play a lot of snaps. Jordan Hall is having to play a lot of snaps. He gives you what he can. They got to be good as a group. And, I think they've buckled down when they needed to. They don't have Elijah Griffin is their guy, number 90. And he's getting to the point where he's no longer a freshman either. And need him to make some of those plays and create some of those negative yards plays where you just beat somebody and it's a nice, easy sack. You know what I mean? You got to have those. I do think this group can get better, stay healthy, and get better. They got a lot of experience there with some of those guys. But I think 90 is the guy that I'm wanting to see. Is he going to be that game wrecker the second half of the season? Because he's played a lot now as a true freshman. All these young players, are we hitting a midseason wall that we have no energy? Justin, I don't know what you mean by no energy. That team just played their ass off in Auburn. That team went into a crazy environment, and they had a ton of energy. Like, you don't win those games if you're lethargic. Like, you had to have it. So, yeah, this team, there's no question to me, this team is very connected. I watch them on social media. I know these guys. I know these kids. And I know their personalities. And I'm telling you, they're not the most talented team. Let me say that. But this team right here, you can tell I think the locker room's really close, and I think there's a lot of really good players in there, leadership-wise. Starts with C.J. Allen, Gunnar Stockton, Christian Miller, even KJ Bolden now is one of those guys. So, you see that. I think it's a very connected football team. What else we got here? Can D-line be effective as good as a group, or do we have to find a game record? Well, it's going to have to be 90. I think 90 is that guy that can be the next level. But I still think as a group, they're doing what's kind of asked of them, and that's you look at the leading tacklers and you look at Justin Williams and C.J. Allen and Raylan Wilson and all them. That's the way this defense has always been built. The defense always been built that way, to kind of funnel everything to those guys, and and get you in third and long and turn it loose and bring a blitz. Talon's going to be out. From what I heard, best case, like the absolute best case scenario is maybe Georgia Tech, but you're not going to rush him back right now. You hope that he gets back, and you hope Georgia's in the playoffs to get those 2 or 3 games, maybe, and then you get Talon another month of practice and getting him back. But this is a kid that he's battling to come back from this collarbone, and he'll be a big piece of the puzzle. I'm confident in that, guys, and excited about his future. But I would say best case scenario. It's so important to get him back in December, because he'll get those 2 or 3 weeks of practice, and hopefully Georgia makes a run there and get into December and early January. Any UGA coaches are going to be on list for open jobs? Always some. There's always some. There's Glenn Schumann last year with North Carolina. You heard Todd Hartley mentioned with Southern Miss. There's always some names, 1 or 2. It's just according to what happens and what comes open, but you probably will see a name or 2 pop up there at some point. That's a good one. That running back right there, Stacy, is one of the best running backs I've seen in a long time. I've watched his tape today. Matter of fact, he's going to be in Athens this weekend. He's a 2027, so it's a long way to go there. But it's one of those, you get him in campus, and you're like, okay. It says a lot that he's a Penn State commit, decommits, and now he's going to be down here this weekend. That's a big one. Let's do 2 more minutes, guys. We can pop as many questions we got up here. Isaiah Gibson and Chase Linton. Chase Linton got hurt, so he's. I did see him dress out the other day, but Isaiah Gibson get a lot of questions about the 5-star. Right now, he's behind some guys, and he's having to learn to play college football. He's having to learn to practice at a pace that Kirby Smart requires you to play. Do you write him off? Hell no. Very talented kid. And, I think he's got a big future. But right now he's behind some other guys. And I think Akenabon at that particular position at outside linebacker as a young player is ahead of him a little bit. Rusty, do you think now that C.J. Allen has a healthy hamstring, takes his game another level? This is all I want to see out of C.J. Allen, just like he played last week, and he played a great game. I thought he was very instinctive. He's always a physical player. At times he has struggled a little bit in coverage. Times teams have ISO'd him. Alabama ISO'd him on that last play and got the back out of the backfield. And, but Auburn tried to run the same play. I don't know if you noticed that. Auburn tried to run the same play, and Raylan Wilson covered it and made him float the ball over, and they didn't get it. So, you look at CJ, and he's one of those guys that like and click on real quick, but he's doing really good, man. He's doing really good, and that was a great game. Very positive for him. 2 more questions. Does Georgia use a spy this weekend? Who would be your choice for that top spy? They've always done that, probably CJ and probably Justin Williams. I would imagine 19 is going to be a guy. They've always done a spy. I mean, that is one staple of Glenn Schumann, especially against a quarterback like this. They've put a lot of spies on guys. They've played a lot of that. Now, you can't do it every play, but certainly when you think about third and longs, if you're man-to-man, you're scared to death of running off coverage and he breaks contain and gets 20 on you, you got to have somebody there that's responsible for him. Let's get one more right here. CJ Wiley, he's down. The wide receiver room right now is just deep with some upperclassmen. Landon Roldan. Let me tell you something now. Landon Roldan, number 84. Don't sleep on him. And I'm telling you that. There's your little inside information. Don't sleep on 84. This is a 4.4 kid. This is a 4.4 laser freshman out of North Oconee. And don't sleep on 84. He's a guy that he's going to play before this year is over. CJ Wiley has done nothing to disappoint, but he's behind some guys, Kobe Young and all those upperclassmen. CJ Wiley's he's going to be a big piece of the puzzle moving forward, but right now he's got some other guys. Guys, Indigo in Athens Friday night. Come see us. We'll be there. I'm there early. I might be there around 5 o'clock. We're not even going to have a little Q&A there until probably 7:15, but I'll be there early. I'll be in the bar. Come see me. Introduce yourself. Let's have one together. It's a huge weekend. Georgia, Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin coming to town, game day coming to town, Luke Combs in town. It's awesome. It is a huge deal. Hotel Indigo, I'll say it one last time, not just for Ole Miss weekend. Anytime you're in Athens, book this place. It's great. But Friday night we'll be there. Great chance for you to come by, patio, see me and Jake. Be a great time. But for everybody, yeah, Rusty has to get activated first. I like to get a little loose. You got to get your shoulders a little bit loose. I'm old, man. I have to get a little bit in me. But, yeah, man, can't wait. Thank you for everybody that's liked and subscribed. Everybody that's tuned in had no idea this show would take off like it has. But thank you so much again for everybody being here. And I always go back. This is the only show I go back and read the comments, the only one, because I like to see where everybody's checking in from. So if you're listening to this later on, watching later on, let me know where you're from. But that's it, guys. Georgia, Ole Miss, it's a big one. At the eyes of the world. Game day, everybody's going to be there this weekend in Athens. Starts Friday night, Hotel Indigo in Athens. We'll see you there.